years. And he can kick the ball through the uprights from 60 yards away.
You get 100 yards, and you know you can get 200 yards. You get 200, you know you can get 300, you know. I go as far as I can see, and when I get there, I can see farther.
Matt Butkus got a lot from his famous father, his love for football and for fun.
I like to compete, not because of who I am and stuff like that. I just to try to make myself better.
There's no snow on the ground yet, but that doesn't mean you can't work on your ski jumping. And Lorinda Mulhop wants to be known for her victories, not for being legally blind. All that plus the honor roll, hometown heroes, record setters, and our nickname Hall of Fame. Hi, I'm Charlene Hawks in Cuero, Texas, the turkey capital of the world. At least that's what the sign says. They say this is where America talks turkey. Welcome to ESPN Scholastic Sports America, the only show bringing you national coverage of high school sports.
ESPN presents the youth of America doing their best on Scholastic Sports America. ESPN Scholastic Sports America is brought to you by McDonald's. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. By the Coca-Cola Company and your local Coca-Cola bottlers. And by the U.S. Army. Learn to get an edge on life. Be all you can be.
There's a hurricane on the loose in Texas. It can carry a football at blinding speeds and drag helpless defenders along with it. This storm is named Robert, and it's leaving a trail of destroyed touchdown and yardage records in its path.
If I was a sprinter and I had to run against Carl Lewis and Ben Johnson and Calvin Smith, I'd love it. I mean, I'd just eat it up. I mean, that's how much I like competition.
Robert is a Texas-sized running back at 6'2", 225 pounds. Last year, he led the Cuero High School Fighting Gobblers to the state championship in Class 3A. But there's something about Robert that will make opponents take notice. He's vowed to become only better.
You ran one play, and you kind of got hit one time, and next time you say, well, one hit's not going to bring me down. It's got to take two. I feel like if some guy can run for 200 yards, I can run for 300 yards, you know. I mean, I love competition.
It won't be easy to improve on the standards he's already set. Robert is just 14 touchdowns shy of setting a new Texas scoring record. He's run for over 7,000 career yards, including 3,000 last season in his junior year, averaging over 7 yards a carry. And this year, he could become the second highest rusher in U.S. high school history. Robert's reminding folks of fellow Texan Kenneth Hall. He set 17 national offensive records at Sugar Land High in the 1950s. And though most of those records still stand, some think Robert is the better back.
But take Kenneth Hall in 1952, 51, 53, and take Robert Strait today, there's no comparison to who the best back is.
That's enough to interest Division I football programs. 24 college coaches decided to catch Robert in Cuero's scrimmage last spring. But they saw more than a back. They saw a leader.
I don't know. It's just sort of like something's in the air. It's contagious. He has an image that just rubs off on him.
I don't go out and, say, hey, I'm the leader. Y'all got to listen to me. Y'all have to say what I say. You have to do what I do. Well, do what I do, but do it when you hit somebody or do it when you run over someone.
It's just Robert, it's just my child doing this. It's not like a big superstar. It's just my child is one of the greats or one of the best.
Robert grew up in this Cuero neighborhood, a town of about 7,100 people. As a young boy, he was bullied around by some of the older and bigger kids in the area until he outgrew them. Then in junior high, he admits his size was part of what led to some disciplinary problems, and today he credits football for turning him around.
It taught me a lot about discipline, If you want to do something, if you want to get somewhere, you got to be disciplined enough where you have to sacrifice a lot that you've learned over the years to do it their way, because they're the boss.
Robert's self-discipline has helped him with schoolwork. His coach says his worst grade last month was an 87. And it's also helped him cope with all the attention that's come his way.
He handles it real well. He really does. He, doesn't let it get inside of him. There's no pressure on him. He just takes it like a man, just does everything.
Kind of take it one day at a time, When the time comes, just take it day by day, you know. I don't think about it that much. It don't bother me. Now, if I was to think about it every night, you know, I probably couldn't get any sleep.
There have been no problem sleeping since Robert suggested having the phone at home disconnected. It was a way to avoid the flood of calls from college recruiters.
Most of them want to call and talk to me, but I tell them I really don't want to talk to them, you know, because I want to concentrate on school and concentrate on, you know, doing what I got to do here first.
There's plenty of peace and quiet to be had in Cuero, located about an hour-and-a-half's drive east of San Antonio.
Every chance I get, I go fishing. If I'm not riding a horse, I'm fishing. Fishing. They have catfish and perch and bass and crappie and no sharks.
He may be quiet, but he's not shy. Meet Robert Strait, public address announcer at the Gobblers freshman football games. The fun carries over to the practice field, where Coach Blessing calls the first 20 minutes recess.
We try to have a good time in workout and in a football game. I think at Cuero we have a good time Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and on Friday we go to work.
Practice is also where Robert puts on an impressive display as a kicker. He's the Gobblers kickoff specialist. He's in charge of booting the point afters. And he kicks field goals. And just to make things interesting, the ball is spotted on the 50-yard line at the end of practice. Robert connects on about 1 and 3.
Good kick.
Cuero will need everything from Robert's arsenal for tonight's homecoming game against Navasota. The Gobblers are winless this year, and the Rattlers are a tough team that made it to the state quarterfinals last season.
They like for you to run inside, so I think the most vulnerable spot would be outside.
Robert starts off the game with a boot that ends up where most of his kickoffs go, through the end zone. But it turns out to be a frustrating first half. Despite the scouting reports, he's sent up the middle with the ball and runs into a rock-solid 9-man line that's keying on number 20. On a rollout pass play, the ball makes it to Robert, but then ends up in the wrong hands. And he has to endure some rough stuff long after the whistle is blown. Robert, who averages over 145 yards a game, was held to just 26 in the first 2 quarters, something that boosted the confidence of the Navasota defensive line.
We didn't trip him. We hit him. I hit him one-on-one. I hit him one-on-one. He ain't nothing. He ain't nothing but a human.
The Rattlers licked their fangs in the 3rd quarter when they scored the first touchdown of the game. But in the 4th quarter, Cuero decided to send Robert racing around rather than through the tough defensive line. The strategy worked, and several plays later, he bolted into the end zone with the Gobblers' first points of the night. Cuero then gambles with a 2-point conversion, using the same play that scored the touchdown. Robert makes it 8-7, which ends up as the game's final score.
Feels good. It was 2 points, and we won. More power to us, but it was 8, and I scored them. I feel like we all scored them. It's not just me, it's the whole team.
The 103 yards Robert earned tonight was off his pace, but his goal is not yardage. It's to win every game and to improve with every game.
Limits? No, there are no limits. You get 100 yards, and you know you can get 200 yards. You get 200, you know you can get 300. I go as far as I can see, and when I get there, I can see farther.
Robert is a big draw on these Friday nights. But even after he graduates, I get the feeling the town of Cuero would still be clamoring for season tickets. You may have heard of the saying, the 2 biggest sports in Texas are football and spring football. Next up, we take a look at a team that opened the season as #1 in our high school football poll. They have a defensive star with a very famous name. But first, the latest Scholastic Sports America football rankings.
Whether you work up a man-sized thirst or a man-sized thirst, nothing tackles it like Diet Coke. The real cola taste you can drink more of because it's just 1 calorie.
I'll flip you for it. Heads again.
Just for the taste of it, Diet Coke.
According to the book, we got 3 minutes. Tonight, we're gonna beat the book. Let's move out.
In today's field artillery, the emphasis is on training and motivation, because a high-tech system like this Army rocket launcher is only as good as the people who run it.
We're here. Arm rocket, fire. Did we beat the book, Sergeant? We rewrote the book.
When the stars come out to play, babe, a twinkling show, ooh, dinner out of sight, yeah, the night.